Okay, good morning friends. Welcome again to UPSC Warrior 2.0. So in today's class, we're going to wrap up our discussion of international relations. We shall be looking at some international events and some miscellaneous areas and also some security related areas. Security related generally ये लोग science and tech में देते थे, but this year they have given as part of IR. So that also will complete. So this will be a bit small, not very important in my opinion, but still we shall complete it. So recently the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention was held with the theme contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, obviously this was held virtually. So Pravasi Bharatiya Divas hota kya hai? What does it signify, or what is the importance of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas? Not only for UPSC but other exams में ऐसे factual questions भी आते हैं. Okay, if you're preparing for CPA, CAPF, CDS and all, what is the significance? Yeah, थोड़ा factual चीजें also you should be knowing. So it's held on Jan 9th every year. Okay, it is a day in 1915 when Mahatma Gandhi returned to India from South Africa. So he was also like a Pravasi and he had come back. So in the same way, the Indian diaspora के लिए we conduct the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. So the term diaspora is commonly, it includes the NRIs, PIOs, OCIs, and of which PIO and OCI cardholders were merged under OCI in 2015. So ये सारे लोग they'll come under your diaspora. So there's a large group of people who can either trace their origins to India or Indian citizens. NRI is nothing but an Indian citizen, right? Even if you go and you stay in US for more than 6 months, you will also become an NRI, either temporarily or permanently. And important है कि India is a leading country of origin of international migrants. Okay, please remember, with 17.5 million strong diaspora. And हमारा सबसे बड़ा कहाँ है? USA. USA is the largest section, followed by UAE, Malaysia, and so on. And remittance inflows amounts to $79 billion, which is the largest in the world. So Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, it is celebrated once in every 2 years. As I told you, Mahatma Gandhi returned, and selected eminent diaspora members, they are given awards. It's called Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award. On the NRI or person of Indian origin, PIO होना चाहिए, or an organization or institution run by NRI or PIO who have made significant contribution, they win. So other government efforts, we have set up Global Pravasi Rishta Portal, Vaishvik Bharati Vaigyanik Portal, which is called Vaibhav. It is for comprehensive roadmap for leveraging the knowledge of Indian researchers. Know India program by Ministry of External Affairs is a 3-week orientation for diaspora youth, okay, about India. Then Pravasi Kaushal Vikas Yojana, it's by Ministry of External Affairs, please remember. So skill sochoge, you might think it's labor or Ministry of Skill. No, it is by Ministry of External Affairs. For enhancing skill of potential immigrant workers in job roles and so on, community welfare funds. Okay, where small services, small fees they do for consular services to support Indian nationals caught in crisis situations abroad. Okay, these funds allow consulates to have rapid access to resources in emergency cases, which allow for launch of rapid responses. Okay, community welfare funds. So in some way, if you ask me, I will feel important here Vaibhav. Vaibhav पूछ सकते हैं, because it is for leveraging the global Indian researcher for solving challenges, bringing the Indian overseas and resident academic scientists together. Okay, Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit, Vaibhav Summit, please remember. और एक PKVY जो है, it is by Ministry of External Affairs, ये भी याद रखना चाहिए. ठीक है. Other small events in news, the JCPOA, which was done between Iran and USA, USA, UK, France, Russia, China, Germany, P5+1, basically UN Security Council +1, +1 कौन है? Germany. It was endorsed by UN Security Resolution In 2018, our Donald Trump ji had withdrawn from this. And mainly क्या है ये? It is for preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Okay? By granting it internationally monitored civil nuclear power program. The civil nuclear power के लिए you can use it, but not for weapons. JCPOA. So it is in news because US initiated controversial procedure called snapback at UNSC, which was later withdrew in a bid to unilaterally reimpose sanctions on Iran. Okay, so JCPOA allows any party to trigger a process that snaps UN sanctions on Iran back into place if Iran is not complying with deal. So they include embargo on Iran selling or buying specific weapons, ban on Iran activities tied to nuclear enrichment, reprocessing, and all of those. So USA had initiated that snapback, but it later withdrew in a bid to unilaterally reimpose sanctions. Okay? Next, Djibouti Code of Conduct, Jeddah Amendment. What is this? India has joined Japan, Norway, UK, and US. Okay, as observer to DCOC. What is it? It's a group of maritime matters of 18 member states in Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, East Coast of Africa, which we have seen, the West Asia area. It is for repression of piracy and armed robbery against ships in Western Indian Ocean. Okay, Djibouti Code of Conduct. इसमें इंडिया ने ऑब्जर्वर की तरह ज्वाइन किया. Next, territorial disputes in South China Sea. Recently ramping support for Southeast Asian nations, US said it would treat China's pursuit of resources in SCS as illegal. Okay, SCS has seen overlapping territorial claims by Philippines, Vietnam, China, Brunei, Taiwan, and Malaysia. Okay, the South China Sea. South China Sea, I think we have discussed in our IR classes at length. So, all of those countries, कौन है वैसे you should be knowing. Your ASEAN countries में China तो होगा. Okay, China के अलावा, that's why I told you to remember ASEAN geographically, because that geography will help you here. So wherever it will open your, see it's there here, right? Your Philippines. Okay, I think this diagram is a bit bad. Philippines तो ऊपर होना चाहिए. Okay, Philippines is involved. Similarly, your Taiwan is involved. Philippines, Taiwan, फिर Brunei, Malaysia and Vietnam. Okay, Taiwan. यहाँ पे Brunei आएगा. Brunei is involved. Next, Vietnam and Malaysia and our Philippines. So how many countries against China? Against China, 5 countries, SCS. Okay, Indonesia नहीं है, बस याद रखिए, Indonesia doesn't have a problem. Singapore also doesn't have. बस ये countries you remember. So China claims more than 80% SCS. It uses 9- line for asserting its claim. And China, in response to US statement, has expressed opposition. Okay, US said it would treat SCS as illegal, so that's why they're doing this. So you can see China कौन से occupy किए, Vietnam कौन से occupy किए, Taiwan कौन से occupy किए. And Paracel Islands, it's disputed, occupied by China. Similarly, Spratly Islands. Okay, Paracel, Spratly Islands, and above, मतलब यहाँ पे ऊपर there is something called Scarborough Shoal. You can add that. Scarborough Shoal with much above. Okay, here with Philippines. Okay, so Scarborough Shoal, Paracel Islands, Spratly Island, all of them they are disputed. Next, 3RF, Lebanon Reform, Recovery and Reconstruction Framework. It's part of people-centered response for massive explosion of port of Beirut. This happened in August 2020. I'm sure all of you have seen the video and news. So for that, they have constructed this 3RF. So it was launched by European Union, UN and World Bank for 18 months. So for people-centered recovery, construction of critical assets and all of that, it is done. Okay, Beirut में हुआ था वो explosion. Next, Japan to join Five Eyes. So what is Five Eyes? Extremely important. It is the network of 5 nations who are corroborated for increasing threat by North Korea and China. ठीक है, यहाँ सीधा सीधा है. जनरली हम क्वाड एंड ऑल देखते हैं तो इनडायरेक्टली अगेंस्ट चाइना होता है. दिस इज सीधा अगेंस्ट द थ्रेट ऑफ नॉर्थ कोरिया एंड चाइना. ओके, दे आर मोर sort of overt in their approach. So इसमें कौन कौन होंगे? US is there obviously, Australia is there, and US Australia बस आप याद रखिए 2 eyes, and इनके दोस्त आ जाते हैं. दोस्त नहीं, वैसे उनके साथ, वैसे राइवल है न्यूजीलैंड. ठीक है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड आ जाते हैं, US के साथ कनाडा आ जाता है, एंड बीच में ब्रिटेन भी है. प्लीज रिमेंबर. ओके, सो यू कैन रिमेंबर USA, ब्रिटेन, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, फिर USA का फ्रेंड एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया का फ्रेंड स्लैश फो, एंड जापान. जापान also will become the sixth eye itself. Okay, it will provide key inputs on clampdown of Uyghur Muslims. Okay, Uyghurs are the Turkic-speaking Muslims who live in the China's Xinjiang region. Many Uyghurs, they also live in countries neighboring China, like Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Kazakh and all. Okay, Uyghur communities. Okay, next UNCTAD. UNCTAD has declared Invest India National Investment Promotion Agency as winner of 2020 United Nations Investment Promotion Award. So what is Invest India? It's a National Investment Promotion Facilitation Agency under DIPP. Okay, I'm sure all of you have heard of Invest India. So as part of that Invest India has won this UNCTAD award. Okay, it is for recognizing and celebrating outstanding achievements of investment promotion agencies. UNCTAD is a permanent intergovernmental body by UNGA. It is for intergovernmental concerns building where states interact freely on policy issues. Okay, next, ARIA, Asia Reassurance Initiative Act. US President has signed ARIA Act to counter the threat from China and to reinvigorate US leadership in Indo-Pacific region. So it aims to establish multifaceted US strategy to increase US security, economic interests and values in Indo-Pacific region. Okay? So the new law, it mandates actions countering China's illegal construction, militarization of artificial features in South China Sea. And what is it? It plays a vital role in strategic partnership between US and India. इसलिए न्यूज़ में. Okay. For strengthening diplomatic, economic, security ties. It allows $1.5 billion over 5 years. Okay, so ARIA is Asia Reassurance Initiative Act. It's an act in the US they have passed for countering the threat from China and having the leadership of US in Indo-Pacific region. Okay, and Indo-Pacific region में भी इंडिया का help लेने का है. ठीक है, so those are our miscellaneous events. Next, they have given some issues related to security. Okay, let us see the issues related to security. Okay, in security first we have India and nuclear disarmament. So UNGA has adopted 2 resolutions which are sponsored by India. The Convention on Prohibition on Use of Nuclear Weapons and reducing nuclear danger under nuclear weapons cluster. Okay, so extremely important news which has happened. High probability of question being asked in this area because UNGMA, they have undertaken the resolution which was sponsored by India. So this convention on prohibition of nuclear weapons, this I'm sure a lot of you would have heard of it. ये बहुत पहले से न्यूज़ में था. It was tabled since 1982. Okay, in General Assembly, it requests the Conference of Disarmament in Geneva to commence negotiations on International Convention prohibiting use of nuclear weapons. Okay, CPNW. Okay, resolution on reducing nuclear danger, tabled since 1998, draws global attention to risk of unintentional or accidental use of nuclear weapons. It underscores the need for review of nuclear doctrines. Okay, 1998. So ये दोनों resolutions were adopted. And what exactly is nuclear disarmament? It is reducing or eliminating nuclear weapons. It can also be the end state of nuclear weapons free world, in which nuclear weapons are completely eliminated. Okay, so denuclearization, it's used for that. And UN sought to eliminate nuclear weapons in the first resolution in 1946. Okay, to deal with the problems of resolution established a commission to deal with the problems of related discovery of atomic energy and decided that the commission should take proposals for elimination. So बहुत पहले से चल रहा है disarmament. And India's role अगर देखा जाए, we have always been an ardent supporter of multilateral nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation. And on numerous occasions, we have taken the opportunity to be the driving force. In 1965, India was amongst the non-aligned 8 in the 18 National Disarmament Committee. Similarly, India opposed signing of NPT, which is discriminatory between nuclear haves and nuclear have-nots. Right? India proposed a comprehensive proposal for complete and universal disarmament in the UN General Assembly Special Session on Disarmament, which came to be known as Rajiv Gandhi Action Plan. India has also not signed the CTBT due to failure of treaty to include a commitment by nuclear weapon states to eliminate nuclear weapons within a time-bound framework. Okay, so CTBT, NPT, we don't sign because these are NPT, for example, mein hai कि only the 5 UNSC members, they are supposed to be seen as a nuclear weapon states. बाकी किसी का हम recognize नहीं करेंगे. So that is discriminatory for us, right? So in that way. And India, we only push for this Conference of Disarmament. ये हमारा favorite conference, Geneva वाला. It was formed in 1979 as a single multilateral disarmament negotiation forum after agreement was reached among member states during the first session of UNGA, devoted to disarmament. Okay, since conclusion of CTBT in 1996, CD is deadlocked. Okay, there is no consensus for that. And even in a nuclear doctrine, if you see, India asserted the continued commitment to goal of nuclear weapon free through global verifiable non-discriminatory nuclear disarmament. And lastly, India has opposed recent treaty of prohibition of nuclear weapons. Please remember. TPNW treaty है, उसको हमने अपोज किया because India believes it's not comprehensive instrument. हमें चाहिए सिर्फ CD. ठीक है, इसके लिए हम कब से मेहनत कर रहे हैं? We have tabled it in 1982. 1982 मतलब सोचो 20 years से हम मेहनत कर रहे हैं, 40 years पे मेहनत कर रहे हैं इस पे. Suddenly we can't leave it, है ना? So that's why we don't encourage this TPNW. We feel only CD पे होना चाहिए सब कुछ. Okay, India maintains Conference of Disarmament as a single multilateral disarmament negotiation forum. India is also in support of non-discriminatory, universal and verifiable FMCT. Okay, Fissile Material Cutoff Treaty, which is being negotiated in the CD. Okay, FMCT पे एक prelims में question भी पूछे थे 2016 I think 2016 or 2017. So पूछे थे question because ये CD के अंदर ही आता है. Okay, it's a proposed international agreement which should prohibit the production of highly enriched uranium and plutonium. Okay, highly enriched uranium and plutonium आपको मतलब सिविल न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी बनाने के लिए हाईली एनरिच्ड यूरेनियम एंड प्लूटोनियम की उतना जरूरत नहीं. So that's why we want to ban it. Fissile Material Cutoff Treaty. ठीक है. Next, the key treaties for nuclear disarmament: PTBT, NPT, CTBT, right? PTBT सबसे पहले था Partial Test Ban Treaty. It prohibits testing of nuclear weapons, which can cause radioactive fallout. And we have signed this. Okay, India has signed the PTBT. Next, NPT, it's the only binding treaty for nuclear disarmament, but it differentiates between haves and have-nots. And next, CTBT. CTBT is an international treaty which bans all nuclear explosions in all environments. Okay, but it's not entered into force. Okay, next, Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. So UN treaty has entered into force on 22nd Jan 2021. It was due to efforts of ICAN, So ICAN is an international coalition of NGOs which are advocating UN weapon ban treaty, and ICAN received 27 Nobel Prize also. So 50th ratification था Honduras का. It triggered a 90-day period before its entry into force, and at present 86 member states have signed the treaty. 51 of them have also ratified it. Okay. So वही था कि अगर 50 states करेंगे तो it will come into force, वैसा था treaty में. So 50th ratification हो गया था, so it triggers a 90-day period. And India doesn't support it, I've told you, because we support CD, Conference of Disarmament. But along with us, US, Russia, China, Britain, France, Pakistan, North Korea, Israel, they also don't support it. Okay, India believes that it does not constitute or contribute for customary international law, right? India supports the commencement of negotiation on comprehensive nuclear convention, which we've discussed. And ये entry into force से क्या होगा? It will become legally binding for the states, but not all states. Only the states which have ratified or acceded to it. So जो 50 ने किया था वो तो गए. Okay, it won't apply to us. So this prohibits developing, testing, producing, manufacturing of nuclear weapons, transfer to any recipient whatsoever nuclear weapons or nuclear explosive device. Okay, receive the transfer or control over nuclear weapons, use or threaten to use nuclear weapons, assist, encourage, allow any stationing. You know, all sort of things which you can think about, all sort of protection against nuclear weapon use, they're all there here. Okay, it also requires the parties to promote the treaty to other countries. It obliges state parties to provide adequate assistance to individuals. Okay? So how is this different from our normal NPT? Your TPNW, it prohibits nuclear weapons outright. Okay, for all state parties. But NPT में है only non-nuclear weapon states should not develop nuclear weapons. Similarly, TPNW focused on prohibition of nuclear weapons, while NPT is focused on transfer, manufacture and acquisition of the weapons. Okay, वो transfer उस पे था, इस पे use पे है, use of nuclear weapons. Okay, this one, transfer, receive and all जो थे ना, that was more focused on NPT. And it complements NPT's disarmament, TPNW. So if you ask me, I feel it's a good treaty. But of course, we should also be pragmatic in our approach. And we can't tell that we should have nuclear weapons, India should have nuclear weapons. We are citing the reason that we believe in CD, Conference of Disarmament, that is more comprehensive. And वो इंडिया का पेट है, मतलब इंडिया का पेट नहीं, इंडिया बहुत सालों से उस पर मेहनत कर रहा है. Suddenly we can't have TPNW. And similarly, India's civil nuclear cooperation अगर देखा जाए, there are 14 countries with which India has signed such agreements. Okay, last major was Australia 2014, फिर Argentina, Canada, Czech, and US तो पता होगा सबको 123 agreement. US-India civil nuclear agreement, 123 agreement was signed in 2008. Under it, India agreed to separate civilian and military nuclear facilities and to open up the civilian part to inspection to IAEA. Okay. So India, France was the first country to sign civilian nuclear agreement after the complete waiver provided by the NSG. France was the first country to sign this. Next, the deal created opportunity for India to be part of ITER also. Okay, with the aid of both France and US. Next, India, Russia. Russia remained key supplier nuclear fuel, even much pehle se. In 2008, the two countries signed an agreement for construction of 4 additional units at Kudankulam. India, Japan, last was not Australia, major last was Japan, Japan se 2017 mein we have signed India-Japan agreement on cooperation of peaceful uses of nuclear energy. So under nullification clause, Japan can suspend cooperation with India if India breaches the NSG pledge. Okay, it became the first non-NPT signatory to enter into civil nuclear cooperation with Japan. India also has civil nuclear agreements with other countries like Australia, third largest producer of uranium, Canada, Mongolia and all. And another thing we have is Global Center for Nuclear Energy Partnership. It's world's first nuclear energy partnership in Jhajjar of Haryana. Okay, Kheri Jasur village. It is for deliberation and discussion of international experts on various issues like innovation nuclear reactors, nuclear fuel cycle, proliferation resistant reactors, so on and so forth. Okay, there are 5 schools. You don't need to know the schools. Okay, next we have is bioterrorism. Bioterrorism, ये simply news में आ गया था because parliamentary panel had highlighted it. Okay, on the outbreak of COVID-19 and its management. So what is bioterrorism? It's a planned and deliberate use of pathogenic strains of microorganisms like your bacteria, viruses or toxins to spread life-threatening diseases on a mass scale. Okay, उसको bioterrorism बोलते हैं. And we have several measures. We have the Epidemic Diseases Act for better prevention of dangerous epidemics. NDMA has proposed a model instrument where participation in both government and private sectors is prerequisite. And Integrated Disease Surveillance Project. It was with the World Bank's initiation to strengthen and have a decentralized lab on disease surveillance. International health regulations. So I say so on and so forth. We have several issues on bioterrorism. And world level पे देखा जाए तो we have the Biological Weapons Convention for banning the development and production of stockpiling of bacteriological and toxic weapons, Interpol Bioterrorism Prevention Unit, and most importantly Cartagena Protocol. Okay, I have to remember this, Cartagena Protocol on biosafety. It is for safe handling, transport and use of living modified organisms resulting from modern biotechnology. Okay, Cartagena Protocol. Okay, so हमारे बायो वॉरफेयर जैसे स्पेस वॉरफेयर भी न्यूज़ में है because US and UK had accused Russia of test firing anti-satellite weapon. So space warfare वही है, ground to space, space to space, space to ground. So ये सारे advent of space warfare began in 1962 when US exploded ground-based nuclear weapon in space, which eventually led to Outer Space Treaty of 1967. So if you see the existing and future space weapons, there are kinetic physical weapons. They attempt to strike directly or detonate a warhead near a satellite or ground station, like anti-satellite weapons. Okay, so kinetic physical weapons, they are mainly 2 types: direct ascent from ground to strike, and co-orbital, they are placed in an orbit and their maneuvering abilities. So हमारे मिशन शक्ति जो हम किए थे, that is like this co-orbital ASAT weapon. And there are also non-kinetic. Kinetic basically क्या है? मतलब हम अर्थ पे है, ठीक है, एंड यहाँ पे एक सैटेलाइट घूम रहा है. सो काइनेटिक मतलब बस जोर से फेंकेंगे, वो जाके उसको मारेगा, बस, नथिंग एल्स. दैट इज काइनेटिक. व्हाट इज नॉन काइनेटिक? दे आर द वेपन्स व्हिच हैव फिजिकल इफेक्ट्स. So they don't have physical contact. Just by using lasers, microwave, electromagnetic pulse, they can damage the satellites. Okay, so Outer Space Treaty, it gives the basic framework by UN Committee of Peaceful Use of Outer Space. India ratified it. Okay, so India is part of it. So freedom of expression, use of space, non-appropriation of outer space, prohibition of nuclear weapon in space. Then there's a liability convention, registration convention, Moon Agreement. It ensures Moon and other celestial bodies are used for physical purposes. And there are some electronic attacks. What are electronic attacks? They target the means through which space systems transmit or receive data, okay, by jamming or spoofing the radio signals. So it's a form of electronic attack which tricks a receiver into believing a fake signal. And cyber attacks तो पता है for by inserting false or corrupted data. So India ने सबसे पहले मिशन शक्ति किया था in 2019. India became the 4th country after US, Russia, China. बस याद रखिए. None of the other, Britain, France, all of them, they didn't do. Only US, Russia, China have done that. And India is the 4th country. So direct ascent anti-satellite missile. So it has demonstrated the capability to interdict and intercept a satellite in outer space based on indigenous technology. We have a Defense Space Agency for commanding space assets of Army, Navy, Air Force, and to protect India's interest in space. Defense Space Research Organization, IND SpaceX, it's a space warfare exercise, okay, which we had conducted in 2019. So that is the space and bio warfare which we see. Okay, so next we have is FATF, which is important not for us but for Pakistan, and Pakistan is likely to remain on grey list, and not likely, they have remained on grey list. Okay, so they have remained on grey list for failing to comply with the deadline for prosecuting and penalizing terrorist financing. So what is FATF? It is a global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog. This body has set international standards which aims to prevent the illegal activities and the harm they cause to the society. Okay, it's a global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog. Please remember, main why. Money laundering, terrorist financing. So it comprises of 37 members, including India and regional organizations, European Commission, Gulf Cooperation Council. So it was established in July 1989, okay, by G7 summit in Paris. It is for examining and developing the money laundering, okay. So for incorporating efforts of combating terrorist financing and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction along with money laundering. So money laundering, terrorist financing, I hope you know money laundering is illegitimate funding. Terrorist financing can be legitimate or illegitimate funding. So they place it in a financial system, they layer it to obscure origin, then they integrate it with legitimate assets. Okay, funds distributed to finance terrorist activities se hota hai. So it recommends it establishes a series of special recommendations for combating terrorism. Okay, and Pakistan लगातार grey list में आता गया है because it is seen that they are not doing enough for curbing this terrorist funding and money laundering. Okay, so FATF is very prominently used. It comes in use. ठीक है, and mostly हम सोचते हैं कि this money laundering and terrorist financing में ही है ज़्यादा. But please remember, the FATF has also highlighted recently that illegal wildlife trade is a global threat. Okay, wildlife trade, that is also a global threat, they have told. So the FATF has told, I mean, you can, the report's name is Money Laundering and Illegal Wildlife Trade. So this they can ask in exam. Recently in June it was done. Money laundering and illegal wildlife trade. You'll be thinking wildlife trade by FATF क्यों है? But FATF ही है. Okay, FATF has launched this. Money laundering and illegal wildlife trade. Please remember this. So मतलब money laundering में कैसे, how will people do in money laundering? Because they are linked to import-export industries. Okay, illegal wildlife trade say in the guise of wildlife trade, they are also linking it to money laundering. Okay, that is what FATF has told. Wildlife traffickers, for example, they exploit weaknesses in financial, non-financial sectors. You know, it's a major transnational organized crime. So वो पैसे कहीं ना कहीं money laundering और terrorism पे भी जा रहा है. Okay, that is what they told. ठीक है, next, border infrastructure and Shetarkar committee recommendations. Recently, government accepted and implemented 3 important recommendations of the Shetarkar committee. So what is the Shetarkar committee? It's a committee for border infrastructure. Okay, so they have told on speeding road construction, leading to socio-economic development, and outsourcing road construction beyond BRO. EPC mode is made mandatory, and in EPC, private player will lay the roads, and it has no roles in road ownership, toll collection or maintenance. Okay, this private player will make the road and give you. बाकी पूरा गवर्नमेंट के अंदर आएगा. So EPC mode में ही mandatory रखेंगे if it's more than 100 crores. ठीक है. Similarly, introduction of modern construction plants, equipment, machinery by delegating enhanced procurement powers from 7.4 crore to 100 crore. And this border road organization has inducted advanced equipment, hot mix plant, remote operated hydraulic rock drills, geotextiles, and so on, and land acquisition for all statutory clearances. देखिए ये रिकमेंडेशन से हमें नहीं पूछेंगे रिकमेंडेशन इन फिल्म्स क्या है. BRO क्या है वो पूछ सकते हैं. BRO was launched in 1960. Okay, it's a leading construction agency under Ministry of Defense. Please remember, border road organization. Defense Ministry के अंदर आता है. So it executes road construction maintenance along northern and western frontiers. It has constructed roads in friendly foreign countries also, like Bhutan, Myanmar, Afghanistan and all. So Shitadkar committee यही था. It submitted in 2016 and वो सारे recommendations से defense budget should be in 2.5 to 3% GDP and so on and so forth. But उनमें से वो accept किया भी. And more border infrastructure, some more in uses. Smart border fencing project have been built under CIBMS, Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System, along India, Pakistan and Indo-Bangladesh international borders. Because the smart fencing at borders is a technological solution to address security issues in border states. It is a high-tech surveillance system which would create an invisible electronic barrier on land, water, air, underground and would help security forces detect and foil infiltration build. Okay, CIBMS में एक one important part is a smart border fencing. CIBMS actually एक बड़ा चीज़ है. It's a robust integrated system for addressing gaps in present border security. It improves capability of border security force in detecting and controlling cross-border crimes. So thermal imagers, aerostats, ground sensors, fiber optic sensors, ऐसे hi-fi type things are there. And BSF also undertook project Bold QIT, okay, Bold Quit, to equip Indo-Bangladesh borders with different kind of sensors in unfenced and in unfenced riverine areas of Bangladesh and tributaries. Okay, border electronically dominated QRT interception technique. Okay, like अगर आप border देखोगे, it's something like India यहाँ होता है, मतलब hills, अगर hills ये है, इंडिया होता है, नेपाल यहाँ होता है, या नेपाल नहीं क्या है, बांग्लादेश है. ठीक है, नेपाल की बात कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज आई हैव सीन एंड रिवर कीप्स फ्लोइंग. ठीक है, यहाँ पे कौन से बॉर्डर विल कीप रिवर के बीच में है ना, ऐसे कौन से बॉर्डर विल कीप. सो दैट्स व्हाई ऐसे अनफेंस रिवराइन एरियाज के लिए दिस बोल्ड QIT वी हैव डन, BSF हैज डन. एंड अनदर सिक्योरिटी न्यूज विच न्यूज वाज द इंटीग्रेटेड बैटल ग्रुप्स. Indian Army has postponed launch of integrated battle groups. So not important for our exam because postponed हो गया. But what is integrated battle group? It's a brigade-sized, self-sufficient combat formation which can swiftly launch strikes. Okay, they will mobilize within 12 to 48 hours based on location, all encompassing with artillery, armored, combat engineers, single units से इसमें. Currently during hostilities, a brigade has to wait to be augmented. Instead of that, they can directly come. So it will perform both offensive roles and defensive roles. It will be tailor-made based on threat, terrain and task. So composition of every IBG would be differ on basis of terrain, and each IBG will be headed by Major General. So if you've seen Uri and the cold start doctrine, you'll be knowing it's swiftly surgical strike करने के लिए integrated battle groups. So sustained attacks while preventing a nuclear retaliation from Pakistan. Okay, next, militarization of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Ladakh standoff with China से India's efforts have wants now to strengthen military presence in Andaman Nicobar Islands. So Andaman Nicobar Islands ऐसे हैं. इनमें if you see Diglipur Bay में INS Kolaha, it's a naval air station. Similarly Port Blair Harbour पे, Car Nicobar Bay. In these areas, we are trying to strengthen our military presence. Okay, additional military forces. So runways at naval air stations Kohasa and Baz in Campbell Bay are being extended. Okay, so not very important according to me. Okay, Campbell Bay में भी कर रहे. So because of growing Chinese presence in Indian Ocean region, then strategic location of Andaman Nicobar Tri-Service Command, it's economically important. More than 30% of world's seaborne trade passes through this area. Okay, they are 30% of India's economic zone. they are the buffer zone between India and rest of nations. And अगर अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड्स ग्रुप पे देखा जाए, in geography we'll be studying there are 572 islands, only 38 are inhabited. So they're from 6 to 14 degree north latitude, 92 to 94 degree east latitude, east longitude. Saddle Peak है highest. Only active volcano, the Barren Island, which erupted last in 2017, is there here. It has many mud volcanoes also in Baratang Island sporadically. It is referred as India's unsinkable aircraft carrier to the east. So there is an Andaman Nicobar command also. It is the first and only tri-service theatre command of Indian Armed Forces for suppressing gun running, narcotics, HADR and so on, to conduct HADR and all. Okay. In terms of defense, I will take up the defense procurement policy, defense acquisition procedure, and draft defense production export promotion policy separately. Okay, because this is extremely important. Okay, definitely you can expect a question in this DAP and this draft defense export policy. This draft policy is not so important. With an aim for doubling India's defense production, they've set a draft policy. Not important. Draft stages में जो भी है, it's not important for us. But this defense acquisition procedure is quite important. Okay, so ध्यान से सुनिए यहाँ से. So the Defense Ministry has unveiled defense acquisition procedure. पहले जो DPP होता था यही है. DPP को ही they have changed the name, defense acquisition procedure. So aligned with Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India and all, we are doing this to implement ease of doing business. It will come into effect October 1st, 2020. And the first 2002 से चलता आ रहा है. Okay, छोटे-छोटे we keep having DPP. 2016 में we had the last one under Dhirendra Singh Committee. And now presently under Apurva Chandra Committee. 2016 is Dhirendra Singh Committee. Okay. Now Apurva Chandra Committee में this DAP 2020 is launched. So it will ensure timely acquisition of military equipment, systems and platforms. It will cover all capital acquisitions other than works and land undertaken by Ministry of Defence and Service Headquarters from indigenous and ex-import sources. So most important है कि हमें एक offset policy हुआ करता था. If you know in DPP, offset policy क्या है? The foreign defense entities should spend at least 30% of total contract value in India. मतलब if your Boeing है, Boeing should spend, not Boeing, sorry, Rafale है, Rafale fighter jets का जो है, just imagine some foreign company, some foreign defense company, if they're sending Rafale jets to us, then they have to invest 30% of the value through procurement of components, transfer of technologies and so on. The condition was for all contracts more than 2000 crores. Okay, it is meant for improving a domestic defense manufacturing. But now that offset policy has been revised. Okay, please remember, offset policy को हटा दिया गया and notify a list of weapons for ban on import, for indigenization of imported spares. They've added a new category by Global Manufacturer India, request for information, reservation category of Indian vendors. Okay, सारे किए for time-bound procurement processes, simplification of trial procedures. Leasing has been added, introduced as a new category for acquisition in addition to existing buy and make. It will be useful for military equipment not used in actual warfare. So like transport fleets, trainers, simulators and all, ये हम lease में ला सकते हैं. Okay, we don't have to buy everything. And strategic partnership model, it will seek to enhance indigenous defense manufacturing through private sector. So Tata will be linked with Navy. Okay, some other company will be linked with Air Force. So that's strategic partnership. So overall enhancement, if you see in indigenous content, buy Indian IDDM should be minimum 50%. Okay, buy Indian में indigenous minimum 50. Buy and make, buy global, then buy global manufacture India, buy global is minimum 30%. So ऐसे contents थोड़ा बढ़ा है. A new category, buy global manufacture India, this is recently been added. के पहले नहीं था ये भी बाई ग्लोबल भी नहीं था वैसे, मतलब बाई ग्लोबल का ये नहीं था, व्हाट डू यू से, मिनिमम कितना होना है। ओके, प्लीज रिमेंबर ऑफसेट पॉलिसी हैज बीन रिवाइज्ड बिकॉज ऑफसेट में ये लोग कुछ कर नहीं रहे थे, ओके, दे वर नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग, सो वी हैव रिवाइज्ड इट। Okay, so हमारा India is world's second largest arms importer. Russia is the largest. Saudi is actually the highest arms importer, and Russia's share has declined from 72 to 56%. So India's armed forces could spend around $130 billion to procure defense equipment in next 5 years. So that's why a draft policy we're trying to get out. And in backdrop of repeated Chinese incursions, experts have called for intelligence reforms. Okay, so intelligence reforms kya hai? At the apex level, we have the NSCS, National Security Council Secretariat, headed by National Security Advisor, set up by government following the 1998 Pokhran nuclear test. Okay, so top level pe we have NSCS under NSC. Okay, it operates with Executive Office of Prime Minister of India, liaising between the executive branch and intelligence services. 2018 mein we also have the Joint Intelligence Committee for aggregating all intelligences from various agencies. Now presently it's subsumed under the NSCS. And we have IB, obviously, 1887 mein bana tha ye, much before independence. It reports to Ministry of Home Affairs. It's responsible for domestic intelligence, internal security, counterintelligence. First, Indian Political Intelligence Office. Next, the RAW. RAW is country's foreign intelligence agency. It comes under PM. RAW is the wing of Cabinet Secretariat, right? NTRO. NTRO is National Technical Facilities Organization in 2004. It comes under NSA again. It's part of PMO. Directorate of Revenue Intelligence under Ministry of Finance. And norms of conduct we have. FIB, RAW, NTRO, they're all governed by Intelligence Act, Intelligence Organizations Act. Okay, employees of Indian Intelligence Agency, they're also subject to Official Secrets Act. But these agencies, they tend to overlap in their functions by design or natural consequence, so इनका बदलता रहता है. Next, we have National Intelligence Grid. It has signed a MOU with NCRB for accessing the centralized online database on FIRs and stolen vehicles. With NCRB, they have signed NatGrid. So what will it give? It will give NatGrid access to CCTNS, okay, Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System, which we have by the police. Because many times you see in bomb blasts, in terrorist attacks and all, the vehicles which are involved are stolen vehicles. Okay, so उनको track करने के लिए NatGrid is now linked with it. Okay, so this also is a very good development. And NCRB क्या है? NCRB is under MHA. It's a repository of info on crime and criminals. It is set up on recommendations of National Police Commission, MHA Task Force. So it will monitor, coordinate and implement the CCTNS. CCTNS is a mission mode project under National E-Governance Plan. It will connect all the police stations, higher offices in the country, create comprehensive integrated system for efficiency and effectiveness through e-governance. So all state police are mandated to file FIR in CCTNS. It enables NatGrid to get information about details. Okay. So NatGrid hai kya? NatGrid also is under MHA. After 2008 Mumbai attacks, it was proposed to form. It will assist intelligence law enforcement agencies for national internal security. It will link 10 user agencies with certain databases. Okay, databases like credit card data, tax, telecom, immigration, airlines, and it will be available for various central agencies like IB, RAW, Department of Revenue Intelligence, and sub. They can use this NatGrid. Okay, Lone Wolf attacks. Lone Wolf attacks is more useful for our mains. A single individual in London had carried out a lone wolf attack. So a single preparator, if he does it, it's called lone wolf attack. बस और कुछ चाहिए नहीं हमें. So he can threaten. He can undertake shooting, vehicle ramming, stabbing, suicide bombing, ये सब कर सकता है. Okay, it has risen from under 5 to 70%. So अभी 70% lone wolf attacks ही चाह रहे हैं. ठीक है. Next, Indian Army proposes tour of duty. So Indian Army has proposed common citizens to join its ranks as officer and soldiers for 3-year short service called tour of duty. It's a short voluntary internship for 3 years for youths. It is for youths who do not want to make defense their permanent vocation, but they want the thrill and adventure of military professionalism. So several measures like tax-free income for 3 years, token lump sum at the end of 3 years, preference in public sector jobs, postgraduate courses, ये सब हो सकता है. But there is no severance packages for the TOD officers. So World War II के बाद ब्रिटिश इंडियन आर्मी ऐसा किया था एक, इसराइल में भी होता है, सिंगापुर में तो मैंडेटरी नेशनल सर्विस फॉर 2 years. So in that way we are undertaking. And lastly we have some miscellaneous news and military exercises. ये करके we can wrap the class. So miscellaneous में India's draft Arctic policy. Again draft stage में है, not very important, but we should know about Arctic region. So it refers to region above Arctic Circle, which includes Arctic Ocean with North Pole as center. Much of the ocean falls within the Canada, Denmark, Norway, Russia and USA. Okay, that's why they are part of the Arctic Council also. Arctic Council क्या है? It's an intergovernmental forum for Arctic cooperation for environmental protection, sustainable development. इसमें 8 member states है, which हमें याद रखना है. ये पूछे भी थे I think एक prelims में. Canada, डेनमार्क मतलब नीचे है, बट ग्रीनलैंड जो है डेनमार्क के अंदर आता है. सो डेनमार्क इज देयर. फिर NSF है, नॉर्वे, स्वीडन, फिनलैंड. फिर आइसलैंड है, ग्रीनलैंड आइसलैंड दोनों है. एंड रशिया एंड ऑब्वियसली US बिकॉज अलास्का का तोड़ा है. ठीक है. सो 8 member states, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, all of these are part of the Arctic Council. India has become an observer nation in 2013. That's why I think in 2014 I think they had asked this question. So this draft policy is what? It is to enhance humankind's understanding of Arctic region, enhance sustainable, mutually beneficial cooperation, strengthen efforts, better understand the scientific climate linkages, harmonize polar research with third pole. ये सब करना. So हमने 1920 में एक Svalbard treaty किया था. We had sent our first scientific expedition to Arctic, established Himadri research base. We have deployed INDARC, it's a multi-sensored mode observatory. Next, Auric Gruve-Badit atmospheric lab was also set up in Svalbard. Okay, so that is our draft Arctic policy. Next, data-free flow with trust. India has refused to become signatory of Osaka Declaration on Digital Economy, which proposes the concept of data-free flow with trust. So what is this? Matlab India has not signed, but still they can ask. It eliminates restrictions on cross-border transfer of information by electronic means, personal information, storing data and all. So data-free flow, सारे countries में it can flow. It stresses on importance of addressing changes such as security, data protection and all. So declaration signed at sidelines of G20 summit in 2019, but by some G20 leaders. So it announced Osaka track for international rule making on digital economy, especially on data flows and e-commerce. So it's inspired by the idea of data-free flow with trust proposed by former Japanese Shinzo Abe, but India has not signed it. Next, the Nobel Peace Prize 2020 was given to World Food Programme. Very important. What is Nobel Peace Prize? 1901 से चल रहा है. Named after Alfred Nobel. It has been awarded annually for those who have done the most and best work for fraternity between nations, selected by Norwegian committee, Nobel Committee, 5-member committee appointed by Parliament of Norway. So basically Norway का ही है. ठीक है, Norway का Parliament ही देता है ये prize. So World Food Programme has won this for effort to combat hunger and bettering conditions in peace in conflict areas, preventing use of hunger as a weapon of war and conflict. Okay, so World Food Program was set up in 1961. It is intergovernmental organization, UN's primary agency, which works for SDG Goal 2, eliminating hunger. Currently, world's largest humanitarian agency combating hunger है. It's headquartered in Rome. Okay, FAO भी रोम में है. So FAO, WFP ये सारे रोम में है, फूड वाले. Every year it distributes 15 billion rations at average cost per ration so and so $0.61 it seems, and 2/3 of its work in conflict areas. It plays a key role in multilateral cooperation, publishes hunger map, okay, for population of undernourishment in population of each country, and WFP has been working in India since 1963. Okay, they are focusing on reforms in TPDS. It has proposed some unique initiatives like automatic grain dispensing machine, Annapurti, and mobile storage units. During current COVID pandemic, it has signed a MOU with Uttar Pradesh State Rural Livelihood Mission for setting up the supplementary nutrition production units. Some key terms in use: vaccine diplomacy, I hope all of you know. Our vaccine diplomacy India का vaccine Maitri है. Okay, it is